I recently got interviewed on the Women Who Could podcast about overcoming imposter syndrome, and I was asked this question.
As you began to learn more and grow in your career, what are some of the challenges that you had to overcome?
Yeah, so at the initial stage, I think a major one was lack of clarity, which I believe is an okay one to have when you're just starting out in your career, because you want to try out a couple of things and figure out what exactly you like, where exactly your strengths are, all of these things. So I would say lack of clarity was a challenge. And eventually I was able to figure out, okay, I love community building. I love talking to people. I love teaching. I also love research, but at what capacity? I had to do a lot of things to be able to explore what exactly I wanted, where my strengths lie, what I was the best at, and all of those things. So I would say it was a challenge, but it was also a good challenge because it helped me really define who I want to be. And another one I would say is imposter syndrome. I mostly felt it because of my age. So when I work with people, it was always easier for me to, if the work goes smoothly, if they don't know my age and everything, they respect me for my work, the outcome is good, everyone is fine. But when they know my age, either halfway through or at the beginning, it's almost like they don't really see the value of my work. And it's almost like they always want to sort of baby me or like sort of like correct me at all times. And I'm not saying correction is bad, but there's a thin line between somebody giving you constructive feedback and somebody feeling like they are in that position where because they are older than you, they have to really pick at everything that you do. So I kind of became very insecure. Yeah, I was very insecure about my age, and I wouldn't talk about my age for any reason. I wouldn't mention my age for any reason. And people just knew me for my work, and that was it. But then I realized over time that even if I was 23, 25, or I was 30, it didn't matter. If I just had to know my self-worth, and I had to be very good at what I do.
I'm going to expand on some of the things we talked about in that interview and also some specific things I have done to overcome imposter syndrome. If you're a returning viewer, I am so glad you're here. And if you're new, hi, I'm Khaulat. I love visiting interesting places and talking about personal development. Today I'm at the Terraculture Gallery, and as you can see, there's a lot of beautiful art here. I also got a new tripod, which means I don't have to be in your face all the time. I'm not sure where I had this or if I have ever had it said somewhere before, but it is something I strongly believe in. And that is, if you don't occasionally feel like an imposter, then you're not growing. This is also closely related to being too comfortable in your current situation and not challenging yourself to be better. The most important thing is to start seeing imposter syndrome as a sign of growth instead of a sign of weakness.
Continuing the conversation of imposter syndrome, what are some methods that you use to overcome dealing with imposter syndrome, and how can others also use your tips for themselves?
Okay, I think I would just piggyback on the point I mentioned earlier, and that is really knowing your worth and being good at what you do. When these things are in place, it just comes easy. Truly, if you take the time to be very good at what you do, you won't feel like you don't know what you're doing. So most of the time, feeling like an imposter comes from deep down that you don't know this thing very well. You're just trying to scale through it. That is most of the time where imposter syndrome comes from. But sometimes you can be really good, and you just feel like, okay, all these people are better than me. Why was I invited to speak at this conference? Sometimes I feel that way too. Why was I invited to speak at this? When I look at everybody and all of them have like PhDs, and I'm just here, I just have my bachelor's. And I'm like, why was I invited? So it's just thinking that, okay, if you're in that position, you were invited for a reason. You're invited because these people saw that you're worth being invited. You have the knowledge that this audience needs. You have the knowledge that this company needs, even if it's at work and you feel like you're not doing very good enough. You have the reason why you were even employed in the first place is because they believe that you were good at that thing. And it is confidence again to sort of say that you don't know something when you don't know it. Sometimes when you try to like sort of fake it like you know it, that's when you feel imposter. So you don't want to, if you don't know something, say you don't know it. If you're even speaking to an audience and you're asked the question and you really don't know it, you just, oh, I don't know that, but I'm going to like go back, do some research, study about it, and I'll get back to you. Things like that. Even if it's at work, oh, I haven't used this before, but I'm going to learn it over the weekend, and by Monday, things like that. So if you don't know it, you speak confidently. You don't know it, but then you're always open to learn, and that is where the real confidence comes from. That is exactly how you overcome imposter syndrome. Just be true to yourself all the time.
So the two things I mentioned were getting good at what you do and recognizing your worth and value. But that's easy to say. How do you actually get good at what you do? Before I answer that, I and these three women want to take a moment to tell you about the Evolve community, which is a community for people like you and me who are interested in becoming a better version of ourselves. We understand that the journey is the best part and learning from our mistakes is golden. The link to join the waitlist is in the description. So how do you get good at what you do? First, you want to set time aside every day to learn something new. Some organizations have some form of learning programs, subscriptions, or even bonuses that you can put towards continuous learning. Don't know about that? Definitely check in with your HR to confirm. If you're not working or your organization doesn't have a learning system in place, invest in yourself both financially and beyond. This will definitely give you the best return in the long run. I personally recommend subscribing to LinkedIn Learning. Beyond the fact that I'm an instructor there, I have found it a very valuable platform to learn a diverse range of topics from various industry experts. So definitely check it out. There's a 30-day free trial and you can ultimately sign up to a subscription and learn every day specific topics or even just general topics that will help you every day. I would very much love to hear your stories. Tell me about a time where you dealt with imposter syndrome and how you overcame it. I'm sure myself and a lot of others will learn from it. I also talked about the importance of confidence when it comes to imposter syndrome. I have a video about how I became more confident, so definitely check it out if it's something that you currently deal with. Recognizing your worth and value is also very, very important. It will earn you the respect you deserve, and it comes with being good at what you do. If you happen to be in a situation where you feel worthless, for example, in your job, if there are 5 other people that do the same thing you do and you can easily be replaced, then maybe that's a sign that you need to grow. You're too comfortable in your current situation and you're not challenging yourself, and in turn it makes you feel more like an imposter. If you happen to have hit the subscribe button, don't forget to set your notification to all videos so you'll be notified every time I upload. Also check out my complete personal development series, which contains personal stories of how I am personally trying to overcome various challenges that we all go through. Also, let me know if there's anything you'd want me to talk about in a future video. Ciao!